is approval of the July 9th, 2024 regular board meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion from the commissioners? Hearing and seeing none. Any discussion from the audience? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for a vote. We'll start with Mr. Stauffer.
Yes.
Mr. Donohue.
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Ms. Alley?
Yes.
And Mr. Najimian?
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item number 3, and I'm going to turn that over to the city manager.
CRA manager.
I'm sorry, the CRA manager.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do need to make an agenda item modification. We're going to be deleting, give me a second, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got you. We're going to need to delete agenda item 5C, which is the design criteria for the Old Town Landing Upland phase. We're not quite ready. We'll bring that back next month.
Thank you. And item number 4 on the agenda is the CRA manager's updates.
I just have 2 items for you under this number 4 here. One is just to briefly remind you that we have those comprehensive plan and land development code amendments coming to you at the council meeting later. So if there's any questions about that, I'm happy to answer. Those really do facilitate kind of what we're talking about here today with the landing development. And then we have attached a timeline under tab 4B, sort of for the future of this project, and I just wanted to provide that to you for information. And so you can hold our feet to the fire. If we don't stay on this timeline, we want to kind of push the tempo a little bit and get this landing project done. So if there's any questions about that, or if anybody's uncomfortable with any of these things, let me know either today or by next meeting. Thank you.
Kristen, just a quick question. As we look at the projected timeline here, January 25 is only 4 months away.
Right.
And this says select developer for upland 6 acres. There's a couple of hurdles between here and there. So, just seems a little aggressive. I mean, love to see that happen, but what is that process going to look like?
So, hopefully when we get our new attorney selected, we'll get started right away on this quickly. I think that's going to be a big project for this new attorney, because we will need to craft an RFP either for the long-term lease of the property or sale of the property under the city's criteria. AvCon has been tasked with helping us develop those development criteria, and we're well underway there, so we feel like we can meet that portion of it. The other portion of the RFP is some sort of market analysis or market research that we would like to put in there that we're hoping the realtor that we have on this project will provide, and they've indicated that they can do that.
So Berkshire would do the market analysis, and then we include that in the RFP?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And, the development yield and other design parameters that AvCon's been working on, we can include there too. And I think we're probably gonna be able to make that, towards the end, it'd be beginning of next year before we were ready to issue the RFP.
If I may, just want to clarify, I don't know if you were thinking like a traditional design bid build type approach. I think we're looking more like like how Freedom Tech Park was developed, where you had a master developer. So there's not a lot of detail. It used to be an RFP that would go out publicly, but it would be not a lot of design detail necessarily. We'll give guidance and so I think 4 months probably is a little more reasonable, not like a typical design build.
Right, we'd expect the developer to come in and give us their ideas on what the highest and best use could be of the site, while adhering to our...
Exactly, design guidelines
Right.
and yield.
Here's the box, design something in the box and tell us, right.
Exactly, yep, so that's kind of what we're thinking about doing, and we should be able to to start construction on the dock and pier system. That's under permitting right now, things are going pretty well. I got some surveys going and different things that we need to do for DEP and the Corps. So we're moving along.
And have we settled on whether or not we're gonna do an outright sale or long-term land lease? Or
We
is
have
that?
not, that decision has not been made, and I think that's something that, you know, we're gonna have to talk a lot about with the attorney and, figure out exactly, there's pros and cons to both sides there, and we need to lay those out and go through and kind of have a CRA board decide, the direction there. And so that'll be certainly something we'll be bringing back to you with, you know, the different options and legal,
Well, there's long-term tax ramifications and ad valorem,
Exactly, yeah.
all types of things that we
Yeah.
have to work our way through.
Yep, there are, and there's, you know, getting money to reinvest somewhere else in another project, you know, so there's lost costs, you know, sunken, so we need to look through all of those
Yeah,
options,
opportunity
see where we land. But I think we're pretty settled on the concept, and hopefully we are having a master developer or master plan and a developer come in and do the entire project, you know, under a common plan of development that, instead of the city trying to, you know, do the land development portion.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I had a question. I know that we have on here to approve the design standards in October, but we are showing that our next meeting is not till November. We are gonna have a meeting in October, correct?
Yes, where is it saying?
On the bottom of the agenda, it says next meeting, November 12th.
Yeah, we need to correct that, yeah, because we did push this back, we need to have that meeting in October. I'd like to, because I do think those will be ready for October, don't you, Lee?
That, right now, that's the plan, yes, sir.
Yeah.
What's that date, October the?
I think it's the, what, the 10th?
10th.
The 8th.
Eight.
What is it?
Eight.
Yeah, the 8th.
Is that good with everybody's calendar?
We make it good.
Yeah.
I might be dialing in, but I will be here one way or another.
We are definitely getting aggressive, but this project's been around for, going on 12 years now. So it's.
Yeah, don't misunderstand my questioning with a desire to slow down. I just want to make sure that we're being practical with the pace that we're playing.
Yeah,
Sir, we don't know how to go slow.
So,
if we can't make it, we can't make it. I'll come back to you and tell you I can't make it, but we're gonna try so hard. If we stay on track with these, plan amendments and changing the comprehensive plan and code, we should be ready to issue that RFP. That's kind of the thing that needs to be done before we do that. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay. I'll go on to the next item, we talked item 4A and B, item 5.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this over to.
It's 5A. It's the logo on, the logos and design.
You want to do this for you, or we do it? You do it. Ask the questions.
So, one of those, so I went through the CRA plan, both the 2015 version and the 2020 modification. They're two separate documents. And one of the things that was in there was to brand and create, you know, logo and branding for the CRA and for the CRA projects. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to follow through on one of those old plan recommendations, which makes a lot of sense. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to get the private sector interested and invested in what we're doing. Because this is not just for the city to do. So our wonderful PIO has created two logos for your review and comment. And she's here for you to provide feedback to. We have one logo for the CRA in general that I believe uses the city's branding color scheme. And then we have a logo for the Old Town Landing project that incorporates the shade cover on the dock and pier system, which we think was a good idea. And we would like to incorporate that shape of the shade cover hopefully into the actual physical design, you know, in terms of a gateway or a bench or something that could be in the upland portion and carry through the project. We're just looking at how we can incorporate that into the overall branding. So she is here and ready for your feedback.
I would like to start this, if you don't mind. So I did email back and said that I would like to maybe work with you and tweak this a little bit. I think that the awning part of the logo was a little bit too big for this. So that's my comments about the Old Town Landing logo. I appreciate what you put into it because there's a lot of it that I like about it. So I would like to work on that little bit of detail with you maybe before the next meeting. I will say though that I like this a lot, so.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I have some comments. Unfortunately, Shanitra's schedule and my schedule didn't coincide. I also looked at the Old Town Landing on there, and I say it facetiously, the color, I'm sorry, facetiously, do we need a mullet in there? That was facetious. Okay. What?
Is that facetiously or
I'm sorry, sir?
facetiously, what?
Is there a pun in there?
Yeah,
Facetiously.
Facetious.
fish,
Mullet like the hair.
Okay, so
different scale.
I love that we're branding it, and I think the color combinations can be improved. I think your color on the landing tries to tie in with the R background color of the CRA. However, I'm going to make a suggestion. When I looked at the colors, I printed it out, and this is on my home printer. The R did not print. So what I'm going to what I am going to suggest is maybe take a look at the color combination for the R. And the Florida League of Cities went through a rebranding about 4 years ago, and they used a bright yellow. And I'm not sure it'll fit in here with the green, the yellow, and the blue. But I think that we need a little bit more brightness in the background for the R. I think also that perhaps it can carry over to the Niceville Landing background, and maybe the landing would end up being a different color, and perhaps white or black, and instead of, I think it's more of a gray right now. But you can play, my suggestion is to play around with the color schemes a little bit, and have something that stands out at the people. When they pick it up, it's no doubt in their mind the colors are vibrant, and they indicate that it's Niceville CRA and Niceville Landing. That's my comment.
And I guess, go ahead. No, I didn't, my hand up here, sorry.
But he didn't see my hand.
I didn't, no, I did not. He didn't see it either. So, I've done a lot of logos. I have a company that I hire that does it. So I just offer that out there. After you guys tweak it, then if you want me to, I can get somebody that can do it professionally. I would even pay for it, just because he doesn't charge me a lot. I mean, it's something that I would like to be involved in too, because the logo is, I mentioned it before when we were talking about putting a, how do you know that it's open to the public? I wanted to see something on there at the beginning, so I just offer that. If after you tweak it, I can try to tweak it up. Yeah?
Well, I think that she has a program that will do it. I think
Okay.
it's just looking for,
Yeah, they are original logos that they're not templates. I made
Okay.
them from scratch, so.
All right, I withdraw. You're next.
Yes.
Exclusively my own thought, and it's a terrible one, because I'm not going to like it, but I got to preface it. And once you see something, your mind locks into it and you cannot see it. So unfortunately, the way this is, and I realize the resolution and everything is terrible on this, I see a mustache every time I look at this. And I don't like critiquing if I don't have solutions. I never try to be that person who just comes in and throws shade. So what I don't know is, if we had a better graphic of this, and then we changed the angle, so we looked at it from on high or higher, so the slats would stick out more, then maybe it loses that very mustachy look, because now it breaks it up and it becomes clearer that is in fact the sun cover that's out on this thing. because I love what you did. I love what you went and picked an iconic element, and you built it around the element. It's just the way it presents here. It's just, in my mind, it went to a mustache, and I cannot stop seeing a mustache.
Yeah, I see
Now,
that.
everyone else is now going to see a mustache.
Yeah, now I see a mustache.
Right, which I didn't want to do, but I guarantee you others are going to look at it that way. So I don't trash it. I think maybe change the angle of attack on it. Maybe we can get a better resolution with the slats.
Okay.
Just, that's my only suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, any comments from the audience on that? Sunitra, I think you have our input, for better or worse.
Yeah.
I will
Minus
create
fours.
some additional mock-ups. Thank you for your feedback.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for doing it. Rebranding this is eye-catching, and it has to be that way. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. So we did item number 5A, 5B. Mr. Lee, for AgCon, you're up.
For a big audience here. I'm just going to go, I have a few slides to walk through. Good evening, members of the CRA, Lee Lewis with AgCon. Over the last several months, we've had meetings with city staff and a representative of the CRA, going through a number of items. One of the things we focused on here lately is working, as Kristen had just mentioned, with the architectural guidelines, development guidelines for the uplands, to communicate the vision of the CRA for the future development, and we'll be bringing that back. That was formally item 5C under agenda. But our team was requested to look at the area located between Bayshore Drive and the water's edge, and develop a concept for that area that would be just the land side of the pier and dock itself, which the other firm is preparing. And I've been referring to this, and our groups are referring to this as the Waterside Park area. We'll talk a little bit more about that, and we can change it as we go. But that's what we're referring to it. So I wanted to talk first a little bit about the phasing plan. We did a quick updated phasing plan with the city when we brought this online. Used to be just 2 phases when we started, but now we're looking at a 4-phase type approach. Phase 1 will be the pier and dock over water elements that are being handled and addressed by the other group. Phase 2, we're calling it confusingly 2A, but there's a reason for that. 2A will be that waterside portion that we're focused on tonight. Phase 2B is the public infrastructure, parking, and right-of-ways, and realigning some of that and providing some additional parking. And phase 3 is shown in the middle here is the greenish, grayish color. Is the, we call it phase 3, which is I refer to as the upland, or really the commercial development portion of the property. And that one is to be determined, as we mentioned. So with that, I wanted to just kind of point out that the phasing on this is going to really work, the timeline of the phasing is going to really work from the water and moving east. And what that does is get some of these amenities in place, and as we make these improvements moving east, it'll really become attractive for commercial investors in this area to have these amenities there in place. So we think it'll help draw that interest. And as if I understand correctly, we're looking at early part of next year for the pier dock system construction to begin as early as early part of next year. So with that, I just want to jump into the reason we're here tonight is what I call referred to as the Waterside Park concept. This is that small area between Bayshore and the water. We approached this project with the following 5 goals. We want this to be a good destination for kids, for visitors and locals. A gathering place that we can have. Certainly, you know, that area gets busy at 4th of July, but you could do, we talked about weddings on the pier and some other special events. We want it to be kid and parent friendly, of course, so there you'll see some features that we're talking about that do focus on families as opposed to just adults and so on. We want to tie everything together, obviously. We've talked about this every time we've approached this, approach the board about this project. That is a seamless tie-in, so you don't see all those 4 phases that we just went over all look like one when it's all done.
Lee?
Yes?
I ask you just to angle
Oh, yeah.
your board a little bit more towards us as well, as long as those in the audience can still see it. Yeah,
Okay.
still good out there? Okay, thank you.
PG.
I could see it from there. Tie this all together so it's seamless, and then the 5th thing listed there is that protected bayou view shed, and talk a little bit about that as I get into the concept. So we came to you tonight with a recommended concept, and this was done in conjunction with, coordinated with the city staff and the CRA representative, but this is a blow-up phasing plan that we just showed, so we're talking about the area in orange, the brighter orange there. So I switched it on you. North is kind of up in this direction now, but you can see Bayshore Drive runs along this area. We'll talk about that as part of the Phase 2B project. But the Phase 2A will be looking at basically the south right-of-way line, or southwest right-of-way line on Bayshore Drive. Whoop, I did it south.
Or do not touch the screen.
We can swipe it, thanks.
Okay. I can do this one.
It's kind of which one to swipe.
Ooh, I haven't seen that picture yet.
I know.
Thank you.
So,
Don't get too close.
I want to get, just point out a couple features of this area, and again, looking at all those goals we just talked about, the couple key features, we wanted a gathering area, so we created, we're calling 18 inch, just a small raised platform there that would be the center, kind of the center focal point of this area, and what we're showing is like, we call it tiered seating, and we're just talking about really, it could be grass, it could be artificial turf, but we're talking about just small step downs that would be arced. So almost be like stadium seating in a way, but not too intrusive. There would be really no height to it. Just be steps down with a concrete border, if you will, so you're almost creating a little sitting bench. We've got a lot of these on the plan. As you come down from Bayshore Drive, you've got several access points. You can see they're tying right into the 2 proposed dock connections over the water. We have, let's see, in addition to the tiered seating, I'll jump to some of the major items. Including the restroom, showing the restroom for now. We already have water sewer hookups in that area. And we talked about doing this one. The grades are a little challenging, but we want to create a kid's splash pad there, just be a place where the water can be turned on during hot days. And it's much like, you might see at Destin Commons and some other places where there's a place for kids just to get in the water. It'd be similar to your children's park as well. That's going to be bordered. We're talking about creating like a 1.5 foot, 18 inch sitting wall, if you will, around there for parents, so parents have a place to hang up when the kids play. And then coming down the sidewalk, again, the grade's moving down, it's from higher to lower. As you come down, this would ramp down to a sidewalk that we're calling I guess the term is a pocket beach. And we're looking at doing right now is we have that's currently a seawall across there. We take part of that seawall out and create, the best way I can describe this is that water would come in to some extent, you'd have a sand buffer, and then again you would have a city wall no higher than this around the whole outside edge. So it's just like a step up, but a place you could sit, put your feet in the sand. We've done things similar to this in other places that have worked out well, very well. We would just have these the design there would be, there's a little bit to consider there, but this would be much like, if you've seen them out at Destin and so on, they have little pocket beaches that they put off East Pass right there, where this won't be nearly as deep as those. We're just talking about a place where you can wade into the water and get your feet wet. So with all that, a couple other features we're showing right now, creating like a drop-off area here just to unload. If you got equipment and supplies to unload down this way, we want to have a place where we can have a drop-off. People with kayaks, I think there's a kayak launch currently planned, but that's still being considered, I think. But anyway, for those types of things, what we want to do is we've created like a pergola on both sides that could tie into the architectural look of the pier, just tie it in with like an entry feature as you come in. But one of the things we were very mindful of is as we look at the development of the upland, the commercial area, we have a kind of a long walkway that cuts right down the center, and we want to keep that view shed open so as you walk down, your view of the water is open. And so you'll see any plantings we do will be limited to this side and this side, so that we have, and these entrances will be off to the side as well, so you have this is clear, wide open. And I got a picture that I'll show you here in just a second. I think that's the gist of this. We will have some screening walls, of course, because there are some residential neighbors. Any questions on this? I got a few pictures I want to show you as well.
I have a question on the step down there. Can you go through that area again, please? And I'm concerned how much you step down from the bay shore down. No, yeah, in the center there.
Right here?
For
The topographical
Right by the stage.
step slopes,
Just,
Oh, here.
seating, yes.
Yeah, we're talking like, again, these steps are 18 inches max.
Is that ADA?
It will all be ADA compliant, no doubt about that. And we have looked at grades, because these might have to, the pergolas here may have to go to a few steps due to the grade there, but we are going to maintain ADA grades throughout the project. But I believe that was the maximum we could get. We'll certainly double check that. I'm not the, our lead on the design is not with me tonight, but we could double check that.
Okay, thank you.
I do have another question. You mentioned the splash pad and that it could be a problem with the grade. How, is it gonna be, you're gonna have a wall on the bottom, or how does the grade work with the splash pad?
It's just a little tricky, but there may be a little bit of a slope on the, we might have to push this down, I think is probably a better way to say that. We might just get this down. There is a little slope from here to here. We're working around there. We'll just have to look at and adapt to those grade differences, but you will see, like I said, the way it's graded naturally, where if this was at grade, down here would be much higher. So we'll have to make some combinations. It could be a series of steps, just leading down on the outside edge or something. There's different ways to handle that, but not there yet. We did a grading evaluation on this where we modeled all the grades just to kind of make sure that ADA compliance was not going to limit what we could even do on the site, but we did take a look at
You
it.
could even reorient your splash pad on a horizontal axis versus a vertical axis, so you don't have the same grade differential, because it's only 10 feet versus 25 feet.
Correct.
A million things you can do.
This is in concept form at the moment.
Yeah.
So with that, I did want to show you, we did take, once we got some confirmation that this was a direction that we wanted to present to the CRA board for your consideration and approval tonight. I did have somebody kind of model this, you can see it a little bit better. This ties together with the plans that were provided by the peer engineering group. This probably is a little more, again, just a concept. It shows a shadow here, but the idea would sort of tie this all together so that, there we go.
It actually shows it better.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, just want to point out the pergolas that are tied in with the same architecture as the dock, and same thing with the restroom. We could tie that all that architecture together. This is the walkway that goes down, and then you have a little, just a very small wall, like a seating wall, that would go around with the sand leading to the water there. Just go flip through these, there you go. So, like I said, I don't think you'd see that much of a pronounced difference at the edges there. I think the modeling just is, we threw this together pretty quick, but the idea is there that you have a view shed as you walk down the main corridor to an event space. And I'll let Sal figure out what he could use that for. But there is a concept. What's interesting about this concept is that we were able to take actual photo in the background. I thought that was pretty.
Photoshop out the aggregate yard.
No, that's actually to the right.
That's over here.
That strip boat is there.
Willingham said so.
So just a little look again, and Mr. Stouffer, you kind of see it there. The grade is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
The grade's a little higher, and so we'll just have to work that out, but not the end of the world. I do want to caution. I know the palm trees are there, Kathy, and I do. There are some cabbage palms out on that lot right now that we talked about even relocating, but the ones shown here look pretty nice. But it was felt that for the concept, we can go back during the design and revisit the vegetation, but for the concept, it did look good.
Hawaii.
And this is the last lot I have showing more of a bird's eye view of that view shed that I was talking about. So you have the entrance here and the entrance over there, but trying to keep that clear line of sight.
That's so cool.
That does look nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I know that's cool. I mean, I'm sorry, I think it's cool.
So certainly, we're open to questions. There's other issues that we'll still be talking about in phase 2 and even phase 3. But right now, the item that we're here tonight for is on behalf of our team and the city staff that worked hard to put this together, requesting CRA board approval tonight on the waterside concept as presented as the basis for future design.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second?
Further discussion by the commissioners? Anybody in the audience? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll start with a vote with Mr. Najimian,
Yes.
Ms. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes, Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
And Mr. Stelfer.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment before you go, Lee. I don't know if you can go back to the Bay Shore section. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the phase 2B concept, a lot of Bay Shore in front of this project will be pavers, so that anybody driving on Bay Shore will know they're coming into a different district because the road will change from paved to pavers.
That way.
Yeah.
They are turning the wrong direction too, right? They run the other
And
way.
you can see it on this way here. You'll see it from the over here
The plan right now, and again, that's part of a different phase, but we'll be extending it quite a ways, as Ms. Alley said, so that when traffic hits those pavers, it will likely narrow the lane at the same time coming in, so that traffic knows there's a change in speed here, to be careful, and that'll extend all the way well past Katie's House of Flowers on the other side. Right now, cars fly through there. I'm telling you, they're doing well over the speed limit on a regular basis, as you know. So the traffic calming is going to be a big part of that design, and we will be looking at having bollards and signage so that on special events, the city can close the road, and so we can make this a complete pedestrian area from water through the future commercial development.
Councilman, Commissioner Najimy.
We've moved on, right? We voted?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so this is as much for Kristen as this for you, Lily. I know we're talking about 2A right now, but I want to just put a pin on the map on phase 3 here. At some point, if we haven't already done so, I would like the city to conduct its own tree survey of what's there. One of the charms of that area is that old growth. So we need to build your design around trees that we intentionally want to keep.
And that has been done. We have a
So we already have a tree survey?
yes, sir.
Okay, perfect.
That was one of the first things we did.
Yeah, I mean, I drive down every morning, as you know, and it's,
Center design, the center circle design.
yeah, it's got to be, we've got to figure out how to design it around those trees.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Okay. Sounds like you're already doing it, so.
Yeah, real quick on that. This slide. Yeah.
That's the one I was looking at too, yeah.
There's a bunch of, there's 3 oak trees together here.
Yeah.
There's some here that we would look at. Right now, we're talking about a food truck area. So there's different ways we can get around this, but we have tried, this design does take into account the majority of the Water Street.
Perfect, thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you very much, Lee. Going on to the next item, item 5, D as in Delta.
Thank you. And thank you for that. I'm having the most fun working on this I've ever had in my life, so thank you. What a pleasure to work on this. I just lucked out. Okay, so the legislature is mandating that we adopt performance measures and goals, objectives, and performance measures by October 1 for every program in the CRA. And so I created those and gave them to you on pages 21 through 23 in the draft annual report that I'm trying to put together for March. The annual report and financial information is not going to be ready until later, but we do need to get these performance measures adopted so that we can meet that October 1 target and remain in compliance with that statutory requirement. I kept it very broad. I just just looked at all the different programs and projects that we have identified in the CRA plans, and then kept these goals and objectives broad with some performance measures that are easy for us to track. I will say that, ultimately, we probably are gonna need to update the CRA plan document itself. We're not working with a whole lot. So we're gonna need to put the 2015 and the 2020 plans together into one cohesive document, and then be sort of forward-looking especially after we work through this landing project to see what's next for the CRA. So we'll be needing to update that, but for now, this is what we're working with.
Kristen, I have a question for you on your CRA performance. Is it just one page right now?
No,
No, there's a whole packet in there.
It's going to be,
Okay.
the standards that the state's requiring us to adopt is going to be on pages 21 through 23 of the annual report document that I provided. And I'm sorry I couldn't just cut those pages out. I'm working in a document program. But it actually, there it is, Councilwoman Alley has there, it has a big bullseye on the front. So those are what we need to approve by October 1, or some version of them. And it did fix some typos that Councilman also pointed out, which I'm very appreciative of, because I'm horrible at.
Do you need a motion to approve it?
Yes, we do. We need to formally approve this. Yeah.
And what your suspense is for 1 October is just the goals and objectives?
That's correct. Just goals, objectives, and performance measures.
So,
I got a motion that we do approve them. I did read them. They looked really good, even with one spelling error.
okay. Any discussion by the commissioners? Any discussion from anyone in the audience? Hearing and seeing none, I'll start with a vote for Mr. Stahl.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Ms. Alley?
Yes,
And Mr. Najimian?
Yes.
I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Kristen, I had a question about what's next, page 24.
Yeah.
And I noticed on the Turkey Creek Park District, which we really haven't really discussed, and approval for Neil, which I know where the Neil property is, Hardee's and mini storage. So are you talking about the property that we own beside the hotel? I don't understand why Hardee's and mini storage would be in that.
So we have adopted in the CRA plan certain projects for each of these properties. And it goes into pretty big detail. There's an amphitheater plan for the mini storage site that AFCON developed, which there's objections from Eglin about because of the bird habitat. And there's just some real huge cost barriers to some of that. Then we've got, for the Hardy site, we've got a parking lot design or concept and a playground. And we would like to bring forward to you an idea of maybe moving that playground to the Neal site north of the existing Turkey Creek so that we don't have kids on Highway 20. So we've got we need to update that section of the CRA plan, and this is also part of the FCT management plan. So that plan will also have to be updated, and I spoke with FCT last week, and they're amenable to that as long as we commit to doing the stormwater project and some interpretive stuff on the Neal site, which we were kicking around the idea of that possibly being integrated into the play area so that it's a place where children and parents can go and learn, as well as have a recreational spot. So we got some ideas that I'd like to bring forward to you guys for your consideration, and then we need to prepare sort of a budget plan over the next couple of years about how we're going to fund that that's realistic and attainable.
So you're calling that empty land next to the hotel, that Hardy site?
Yes.
No, I think next to the hotel is going to be mini storage. The Purdy site is the one that's right on Highway 20.
Yeah,
Right next to the pond.
Yeah, and it's right next to the DOT stormwater facility.
to the right of the Niceville sign, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, correct.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I don't have a map for you, but
It's
this
just
will
right
all
next
be
to the hotel.
something that, I'm glad that you're looking at that, because that was my objective here, is to stick some ideas in front of you and see where we could go over the next few months with some of those.
I know we voted on this, but I think it's still somewhat in draft, right? You said you have to make some more, It's due 1 October.
We're not approving the.
No, I'm talking about the goals and
Yes,
objectives again.
yeah, I made a couple of typo changes that Councilman Stauffer has, and I think yours got kicked back because it's too big. But I did he had pointed out some.
I forgot that I put something together, and I forgot my notes with me, and I went ahead and voted, but let me just ask you this. We're not locked into 4 goals, right? We're choosing 4?
Yeah, there was no guidance in the legislature about how you do this.
Okay.
And everybody's.
Yeah, it's county option out there. I've seen these reports.
Yeah.
I just feel as if, as I'm rereading this again, I remember my notes that I made to myself. I almost feel like goal 1 is a subset of goal 3.
Yeah, I can see that.
And again, it's increased economic activity within the CRA, and then one of the ways of measuring that is to increase the tax base. That becomes a great performance measurement for
Absolutely.
increased economic
I
activity.
did put that data in the annual report, it kind of trailed off like.
Right, and so you've got a goal with only 1 objective with one performance measure. I would suggest that consolidates under goal 3.
We could probably do that, I could look at that, I was trying to hit, because it did say that we had to have goals and objectives for every program and activity of the CRA. So I was trying to hit every program and activity with, some kind of a treatment. But if I can do that, I will. I
Well, it
understand
gives
what
you
you're
3
saying.
nice goals, because then 1 is focused on the built environment, 1's focused on economics, and 1 is focused on being a good neighbor and working with our community.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I don't know if you want to revote it, re-rack it, or if we left it loose enough that she can rebid these.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do that, yeah.
we have a timeline to work with, and I think that with your comments on it, that we could redo the motion with your comments. You made the motion initially, Mr. Stauffer, and Donahue seconded, I believe.
So do we just combine 1 and 3?
Yeah, I think 1 and 3 naturally go together.
Yeah, so I think we
The
just
content of this is
amend
still
the
the
motion.
same, it's just the way it's going to be pinned.
So let's null and void the first vote, and we'll start
You
off.
can't just tell them, boy, you gotta make a
motion.
motion and then get rid of it, then you can go back.
Okay, so I,
I'll make a
You-
motion, no.
I make the motion that we null and void the motion that I was made and reconsider it.
I would consider mine.
So you second that?
Right.
Okay.
okay, so we need a vote of that now.
Correct.
Mr. Stauffer,
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
And Mr. Schatzels, yes, Ms. Alley,
Yes,
and Mr. Najimian, yes.
Yes.
So now we have a clean slate, so let's start again.
I move we approve the goals and objectives as presented with the consolidation of goals 1 and 3 into a single goal, realigning objectives and performance measures accordingly.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on the council? Anyone in the audience? Having seen that, I will start with Mr. Najimian
Yes.
for a vote. Ms. Alley?
yes.
And Mr. Schatzels, yes. Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
And Mr. Stauffer?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so we have a new game plan.
All right, got it, we'll do it. Okay, the last item, I'm sorry, you want to jump ahead?
I'm sorry?
You ready to do the next item?
Yes, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, that is approval of the fiscal year 24-25 budget. That's the other thing that we have to get done to meet our statutory requirements. So Stephen is here. If you have questions, he worked extensively on this together with David and I. So it's as presented.
Can I have a question on that? I mean, did we already approve the budget when we did the budget? Because CRA was in there. Is this different? Did we already approve this with the other budget stuff?
Sir, the budget ordinance gets 2 readings. You heard it as part of the city's budget and voted.
So this is the second reading then?
No, sir, that will be on the 19th of September.
The CRA commission has,
Oh, that's
the
right.
board
So
has
then
to
it
approve
goes
the
to
CRA budget.
Council.
And commissioners, there has been no change to the CRA budget as I presented it several weeks ago.
I guess that was my question.
Okay, I'll make a motion in that case then to accept the CRA budget as presented.
Second.
Second. Any discussion by the commissioners? Any discussion from the audience? Hearing and seeing none, we'll have a vote. We'll start with Mr. Stauffer.
Yes.
And Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
And I'll say yes. Ms. Sally?
Yes,
And Mr. Najimian?
Yes.
Okay. Going on to item number 6, we have public comment on the agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to come forward? And I know you're all walking in on this almost at the end of our meeting, but are there any comments from anyone? Any further comments from our commissioners? Hearing and seeing none?
I want to say this is a CRA meeting and not the city council meeting.
Go ahead, and then I'll make.
Yeah, you're right. The individuals who are walking into the audience, they are here for the city council meeting, starts at 6 o'clock. We are just finishing up our CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. So please don't confuse the two. Mr. Najimian.
Just a comment, observation. Like you, Commissioner, I've been up here for 12, 13 years, you a little bit longer. I've seen more activity and achievement in the CRA in the last year than I did for the 11 years, 12 years preceding this. It's a long time in coming. So Kristen, your comment of being here at a very exciting time is very, very true. I think it's a confluence of factors that have brought us to where we are today. Some of the changes that this body has made, some of the people that we've hired, some of the decisions that have been made, and I think the city is going to benefit greatly from what the CRA does. We almost had to make up things to talk about in the CRA for a lot of years. We've never filled more than 20 minutes, and now we're rushed to get done in an hour. And that's a testament to how far we've come.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on those comments. Kristen, CRA authority lasts 25 years, does it not? So we're 12 years into it, about 12 years into it. So we have another 12 years to get the project done.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So good comment, Commissioner Najimian, thank you for that. Are there any other comments? Hearing and seeing none, we'll go on to item number 7. The next meeting, as we are changing our agenda to October 8th. And we'll set it for 5 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Again, right before the city council. And Commissioner Najimian, how does that affect your youth council?
Same as this time. We'll have to work around.
Okay, okay. Any other comments from the commissioners? Anyone in the audience, Mr. Dice, your staff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then let's, the CRA meeting is adjourned.